here for a while. I've just been working on some material actually, and I'm going to record something tonight, hopefully, and then I'll have it uploaded. It won't be particularly good quality. You guys know the drill, but yeah, hopefully I'll have something new. I just want to talk about the media are parasites. It just popped into my head because I was just doing a little light reading. I like to read some news articles. A lot of music articles. I was reading a thing about Iggy Pop in one of the music editorials. Then I read a tabloid because I like to read the tabloids and just for a laugh. The stories where it's like this actor is unrecognizable, blah blah blah. The media are just parasites. The music media as well. I was having a conversation with my brother the other day, and I said that I was telling him where have all the Walter Cronkite's gone? Because we were talking about the media and regardless of what you may think about Donald Trump, you can't deny that the media reporting on Donald Trump and the media reporting on Kamala Harris was totally one-sided. That all the media coverage of Trump was negative and horrible. All the media coverage of Kamala was perfectly nice. They did the same with Biden. And, I don't want to get too into the politics and too into my own opinions. All I'm going to say is, if you're going to go after people for the bad things they've done, fair enough. Trump's done some bad things. You can't then not go after the terrible things that the ruling party have done. And I think we all know enough about Joe Biden at this point to say Joe Biden's a pretty fucking sick person. I believe a lot of the rumors. And Kamala Harris, well, I've got some choice words, but I don't want to say them. But anyway, yeah, so that aside, that led me into a conversation where I was basically saying to my brother, where have all the good journalists gone? And then I mentioned music journalism, but I said, to be honest, I don't think there were ever any good music journalists. And I used Lou Reed as a great example. Lou Reed's one of my biggest, one of my recent inspirations, but he's up there. My biggest inspiration and my biggest hero is always going to be David Bowie, primarily. And I'd say David Bowie and Iggy Pop are very high up and probably quite close. I mean, Iggy Pop is also, because I'm a punk and he's a godfather of punk. It's Iggy Pop and David Bowie who are up on the pedestal for me. They are just two of the greatest living legends in history. Also, Ian Curtis in recent years. In the last year or so, I've become a Joy Division brat. Last 2 years, sorry. Ian Curtis as well, and Kurt Cobain, obvious. But the two big ones, the ones who are just legends and who have influenced everybody and are well known and big characters, Bowie and Iggy. But I said, Lou Reed, I was saying to my brother, about the fact, Lou Reed always hated journalists and used to call them scum and he treated them with such animosity. And I said that, if I'm ever lucky enough to find myself in a position of fame, I'm going to treat the media exactly the way they deserve to be treated. But I said that music journalism especially is just even just critics, it's redundant. From the beginning, I think it's been redundant. I went into a tirade of shitting on Roger Ebert, who, to be honest, I think it was mostly just me ranting, because I don't really know Roger Ebert that well. Obviously, he's dead. I've never met the man. But I've read enough of his critical reviews to think, even the stuff he praises, there's a working class hatred I think I have for this elitism that is inherent towards particularly critics. Whether it's video game journalists or music journalists, it's just the critics. I can't stand them. Even the name makes me retch. It makes me want to bend over and vomit bile onto the floor. It's just this. I mean, I don't know who wants to be a critic, and I don't know who wants to be a music journalist or a gaming journalist, and they're not journalists. I mean, these days, I don't know who wants to be a journalist either, but at least journalism historically has had a great honourable profession. I can't think of music journalism as anything except always being, opinionated little twats being paid well, they're not all paid very well. Obviously, a lot of them are paid crap, but being paid any sum of money to basically do something that I could do sitting on my ass in my home, and I could do with the money. I'm unemployed and I'm on disability benefit for the time being. It just a vulgarity about the entire profession that just makes me want to completely vomit and basically stick them all with a knife. That's me taking the piss. I'm joking. That's not a threat or a direct incitement. I just think I think the whole fucking, I think it's a racket. I think nowadays when anyone like me can pick up a camera and just talk about this stuff, I think it's also a redundant profession. But someone who wants to get involved in the music industry and is already aware of this, I mean, the industry itself is a. I'll do a video on that in the future. It's a sorry fucking state of corporate, basically clean, safe corporate decisions motivated primarily by maximum profit margins, which, okay, so maybe it was always like that, but obviously corporations now are not corporations 60 years ago. The music industry itself is nowhere near. In some ways, the music industry now is not as powerful as it was in the past, but it's certainly it's certainly bigger than it was. The influence of music and even Hollywood, yeah, it's waning, but they're still big and they're still powerful. Um, and the rise of artificial intelligence is is going to make the music industry even more powerful. Um, but journalism and music journalism, it's just Lou Reed was right. He gets a lot of crap from these modern Redditors, right? I mean, I got banned from our punk recently for basically telling them all that they weren't punks and then threatening to disembowel somebody. Lovely Friday afternoon. But that's just me. That's who I am. I'm a very, 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 very over the top, aggressive. And I have a very good sense of humor. I mean, I'm an absurdist. Well, not entirely. I mean, I'm not like absurdity. Absurdist humor is a Gen Z thing, but it's a bit silly. I'm absurdist in a sort of satirical, witty sense. You know, I'm not just gonna like come up with a bunch of random words and pass that off as a joke. But I have this very exaggerated way about me. But Lou Reed was absolutely right, and people criticize him, you know, because he was too harsh on journalists and all of this, and he was this nasty person. He had his personal problems, but there was also the two sides of Lou Reed. That persona that he expressed, which again, Lou Reed had his influences on the punk industry. The Velvet Underground was very influential in the punk scene and the underground music scene and the alternative scene of the 70s, which obviously a lot of that did encompass punk and post-punk and new wave and all of this going into the 80s. But even in his persona, obviously his wretched fucking hatred for the music media was totally personal and justified because of how they trashed the Velvets in their early iterations. You know, which again is a common thing. Music journalists and just critics in general getting things so fucking wrong more often than they get things right. I personally believe. I haven't got any empirical evidence about that, but I certainly believe it. It's just sick. You know, these people deserve to be treated with derision. One of the things that's so sad as well is that music journalists, and it's so true just in general because of the pressure that these journalists put. I mean, look at the video game industry. You know, not just the financial problems, and not just the same problems that the music industry and the film industry is suffering with, you know, the safe corporate road maximizing profits, but also just the impact of politics and sensitivity and, oh, we must be inclusive, we can't say offensive things, we must be woke, we must be this, blah blah blah. The impact that these music journalists have had on creating the sterile landscape of music today that's devoid of any real controversy, where every piece of controversy feels like it's been manufactured in a boardroom. Oh, look, Tate McRae did a video where she's naked and it's blurred. Oh, wow, so shocking. No, totally predictable. She starts off as a singer-songwriter on YouTube. She starts off with a career that's a bit more friendly and kiddie because she was a teenager. Then she gets to the age of consent, 18, 19 years old. They decide, oh, okay, well, look, maximize your profit, show us your tits. You know, imply that you're going to fuck your fans. You'll get a bunch of horny guys watching you, a bunch of impressionable young girls in their teens and 20s who think that, oh yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to sex ourselves up and we need to be trendy and we need to wear all this. And oh, I need her makeup and I need this. You know, it's manufactured corporate garbage. Which again, this isn't something that's just begun. I'm not saying that, but it's at this point, it's reached the maximum where it just makes guys like me honest. I don't know, okay, not hard work. Okay, hardworking in terms of my music anyway, and you know, I mean, I recently bust my arse off just to make a little bit of money so I can take my mum out for a birthday meal at the weekend. I could have taken the money out of my benefits. I didn't want to. I wanted to earn that money, and I have just about enough, give or take maybe 10 quid out of my benefit money, that I can get us both a meal for about 30 quid and the pub, and we can just sit down and have a nice afternoon. Someone like me who not only is trying to claw his way up and work really hard, but also wants that because it's honest, it makes me sick. And the role that music journalists have played in creating this landscape, you can all go and fucking die. I fucking hate your guts. If I could tear out your insides and strangle you to death for your own intestines, I would. And I'd do it with a fucking smile on my face and a stiffy in my underpants. Fuck the whole stinking, putrid fucking lot of you. You sick, twisted fucks. Yeah, not a fan of the music journalism. Not a fan of critics. That's it. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm gonna try and upload some stuff. Peace. Take care. Have a good one.